I've known both Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan since the days he was in a rock band, and very devastated with what's going on. I do as you know, I work for the YouTube channel of Sportskeeda Wrestle Binge, and I also do a weekly newsletter for them. And what was unusual is the newsletter comes out on Thursdays, and in the newsletter, I always have a photo from my archives. And today, this was released. Can you see this?
Yeah, a picture of Hogan.
It's a picture of Hogan holding a picture of my daughter, Haley, when she was a baby.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
right.
My goodness, Bill.
Right. So when I woke up and heard the news and I looked at the newsletter, it was so, I still don't believe it's true. I don't want to believe it's true. I've known him, Terry Bollea, Terry Boulder, Hulk Hogan, and a personal friend since he started in Florida. One of the things that I went down to Apter's Alley to get for our broadcast is the night he won the title from the Iron Sheik. All the magazines were banned from there. Vince McMahon had his own magazine, and Hogan called me when I got home. There were no cell phones. He called me. He said, "Were you there?" And I said, "I saw it on closed circuit at the Felt Forum at the Garden." He said, "Well, can you get on the train and come back here?" He told me where his hotel was. And I said, "Won't you get in trouble? Vince doesn't want you to take pictures." He says, "I need you to come here." And he let me do 20 minutes of photos with him posing in the mirror, posing with the new belt. Wow. And it ended up with two things. It ended up with this photo in his hotel room with the belt he won the night he beat the Iron Sheik, just a few hours later. And then as I was leaving the hotel, he said, "I have something else to give you." And I said, "What?" He said, "I want to thank you and the magazines for helping me out back when I first came to WWF and in the AWA." And he gave me the headband that he said he wore that night for the Iron Sheik match.
Unbelievable, Bill. There you
look
are
at this.
Headband.
And
That's amazing.
I never had him sign it, but last year when they did the Raw anniversary in Philadelphia, he was there, and I went to see him, and he signed it for me. And I've been holding on to this like a baby would hold a blanket all day today. I refuse to let it go. What do you want to talk about, Dave?
Well, I mean, with you, and I always say, Bill, those magazines, the Apter mags, as everybody likes to call them, with Inside Wrestling and The Wrestler and Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and that was my Bible growing up, and you were my hero growing up. And when you look at Hogan, I mean, you inducted me into the Hall of Fame. When you look at Hulk Hogan, could Vince McMahon have taken the WWF National if he didn't have Hulk Hogan by his side?
No, I think the two of them were, Vince and the marketing team and the charisma of the cartoon like real life character of Hulk Hogan was the perfect combination. Absolutely perfect combination. I don't think either one of them would have had the same success without each other. Vern Gagne had the opportunity. He didn't give Hogan the belt. Hogan wanted the belt. Vern Gagne didn't, I don't know if he didn't trust him or it wasn't the right time. He kept the belt on great legend, one of my best friends back then, Nick Bockwinkel. But there was so much going on at that time when McMahon wanted to expand that Hogan needed him, again, with the marketing. Do you know about the Rocky story, how I was involved in that?
No, please tell us.
Oh, my goodness. I thought definitely that you would know that. You've got to get a copy of my book, Is Wrestling Fixed? What's the answer, Dave?
I didn't know it was broken.
Thank you. You got it. So back in the day, hang on a minute, when the WWF banned all the magazines from shooting pictures and not writing stories, but shooting pictures, I got a call from Sylvester Stallone's office. Sly is looking for a character, and we saw a couple of people in your magazine, two people that we'd like to get pictures of. So I sent him photos of two people that I thought would be great to play Thunderlips. One of them was superstar Billy Graham, and the other one was Hulk Hogan. Stallone's office called me back the next day, where can we get a hold of Hulk Hogan? It turned out that somebody said Skolin gave him the message, but Hogan thought it was a rib. So in order for me to talk to Hogan, he put me in touch with his mother, Ruth. And I called Ruth, and she said, what? I said, yeah. And Ruth got a hold of Terry, and that's how he got in touch with Hogan and knew it wasn't a rib. And as a thank you present, Hogan sent me, for the magazines, about a dozen 35 millimeter slides of the making of him and Rocky III that we used in the magazine. But yeah, and I had a long history with him. He would call me periodically and run storylines when he was in WCW, what I would think of it. He became a really good friend. I was at his house in Bel Air, Clearwater, dozens and dozens of times. And we saw each other at the Raw anniversary show in Philadelphia, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. And I said, God, do you remember the days when you let me come up to your hotel room when Vince Jr. wouldn't let me in or take pictures? And he says, man, when Vince saw those pictures, I got so much heat, meaning he and me, that he was sweating. But he knew that Vince McMahon needed him as well. So, yeah, we have a long history. I'm going to end this with telling you something he said when the ban happened, when we were all banned from shooting and taking pictures, etc. He said, no matter what happens, I will stay in touch with you. You're a brother to me, and I'll always love you. Talked to Jimmy Hart last night, and I hear Ric Flair did too. And Jimmy said, baby, Hulk's doing fine. It's going to take some time. And then I woke up this morning, and my inbox had over 100 messages